Welcome, fine folks of Westminster Presbyterian Church. I'm so sorry I was unable to be with you last week, but hopefully this YouTube virtual presentation finds you all in good health and in good spirit. First things, my contact information. I will leave this slide up for a minute just in case you would like to grab a pencil or a pen and something to write on. One of the disadvantages of doing a virtual presentation is that questions cannot be asked in real time. If you'd like to ask a question, here are a couple of ways to do so. I have my email address up there, is ncrapser@sponsorsinc.org. That's NCRAPSER at sponsorsinc, SPONSORSINC.org. Or you can reach me by phone at 541-505-5659. Or you can post your question in the comments section of this YouTube video and I'll answer it. That way anyone that has the same question can read the same question and my answer. Or lastly, I will happily schedule something easy and informal at your church to answer any questions or to be able to tell you more about the program. Also, I have the same exact slide at the very end of the presentation in case you missed something or you want one more chance to write things down. In December of 2016, I was asked to give a TEDx talk at the TEDx Humboldt Bay in Eureka, California. I called it the 3 E's of Successful Reentry, where I spent about 15 minutes talking about incarceration, sponsors, solutions to the problem, and a bit more about my journey to where I am today and my personal connection to sponsors. For ease, you can simply type Nick Crapser TEDx in the search bar of YouTube or follow the link that I'll leave below in the description section of this video. Watching the video will give you a bit more than you get here in this brief PowerPoint presentation. So a bit about the national overview or the state of our nation's prison system. Currently, there are over 2 million adults in prison, which is about a 700% increase in the last 35 years. There are over 5 million on some type of supervision of some kind. This means that over 7.7 million people are in prison or on supervision, with a total of over 13 million individuals with felony records in the United States today. This amounts to 6.5% of the adult population or 11% of the adult male population. This chart shows the number of people in jail, prison, or on parole or probation in the United States. Notice that in 1982, the number was just barely above the 2 million mark. And in 2007, that number had skyrocketed to over 7 million. There are many reasons that this number shot up so fast, and we could talk for several hours on just that alone. Suffice to say that we have a problem in the United States that is out of control and not seemingly getting any better. The graph on this next slide is a sad commentary on incarceration rates among ethnic minorities. Notice how African Americans are overrepresented in the prison system at more than 6 times that of Caucasians. Something absolutely fascinating in this next slide is the crime and incarceration rates in the United States in 1969 and in 2013. This is the crime rate per 100,000 and the incarceration rate per 100,000. Notice how the crime rate actually went down from 1969 to 2013, but the incarceration rate is nearly 5 times the rate of 1969 per 100,000. So in essence, while the crime rate has not changed much, we're incarcerating 5 times the amount of people. Or putting this in other terms, 65 million people in the United States today have an arrest record of some kind, which is nearly 1 in 4 people. Now that we have this closer look at the national overview, let's look more closely at Oregon. In the state of Oregon, there's approximately 4 million people, and over 83,000 of them are behind bars or under criminal justice supervision. That number does not include people off of supervision, those with an arrest record, or those that are formerly incarcerated. The 83,000 are just those that are currently in jail or in prison or on parole or probation. So here's a little bit about prisoner reentry needs. 95% of the people that are incarcerated today will eventually be released. Many will return to the same environments that led them to imprisonment in the first place. Only 5% of the world's prison population is either sentenced to life, sentenced to death, or will otherwise die doing their prison sentence. Over 650,000 of those people nationally will be released from prison in 2018. Also in 2018, approximately 5,000 of those people will be released from prison in the state of Oregon. Over 175,000 men and women will cycle in and out of our Oregon county jails in 2018. And approximately 50% of those releasing from state custody in Oregon will be homeless. So a little bit about Sponsors. Sponsors was founded by a group of Catholic nuns and community activists in 1973. In 1988, in 1988, we began providing housing with just 5 beds. Today, the agency manages 20 buildings on 7 sites with over 200 beds of transitional, long-term, and permanent housing for people with criminal histories. So notice that house in the picture on the left. That was the very first house that Sponsors opened. We began providing housing with that house. It's still a Sponsors property. It's on the south end of the Sponsors Women's Campus on 8th and Monroe. So Sponsors philosophy is based on the belief that people can and do change, and that a strategic intervention at the appropriate moment can serve as a catalyst in that change. A little bit about Sponsors' target population. Our target population are people that are releasing from state or county correctional facilities. Now keep in mind, these are people that were born and raised in Lane County. We're not importing people from other counties or picking people from prison from other counties. These are our neighbors, our brothers, our sisters, our families. They're people that were convicted of a crime in Lane County and are returning to Lane County. Our priority population are people convicted of sex offense, senior citizens, which Oregon ranks #1 of people over the age of 55, women with children, veterans of our U.S. military, and people with disabilities and mental illness. Notice that this priority population represents those that are absolutely hardest to place, hardest to house. So our service delivery, based on a battery of assessments that we do when folks check into Sponsors, we're able to place them into the appropriate in-house services. And these are all things that we offer right on site at our locations. So we have a reentry resource center, which focuses primarily on helping folks get the things that they need to get a job and to get out in the community and start becoming self-sufficient. So building resumes, getting ID, getting a birth certificate, or whatever else they need to get moving out to the workforce. We have a mentoring program where we connect and match people from the community to folks that are releasing from prison. We offer 39 cognitive behavioral therapy groups per week, ranging from gender-specific groups to groups that are designed to address numerous behaviors. We have behavioral health services. As of last year, we started offering mental health services right on site to folks. We offer level 1 and 2 substance abuse treatment. We have a veterans grant per diem program, which allows us to house 10 veterans that are releasing from jail or prison. We also offer parenting classes on site. And once a month, we have a University of Oregon sponsored legal clinic where folks are able to talk about things that are still maybe precluding them from moving forward in their life. Here's a few pictures of our Roosevelt Crossing campus. This was established in 2010. We have 44 units of transitional housing, 86 beds for men releasing from jail or prison. It was funded through a number of grants and contracts and private foundation grants. We're staffed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Also on site here is our administrative offices for our entire organization. And we have on-site parole and probation offices at 3 of our main locations. This is our Sponsors Women's Program. Notice that is the house that you saw a few minutes ago that I referred to. It was established in 1991. The campus was as a women's, but prior to from 88 to 91, it was used as a men's housing. We have 28 beds of transitional housing there that women can stay from 90 to 120 days. The amount of beds that we have is directly related to the amount of women that go to prison in Lane County. So because there's so fewer women that go to prison than men, we're able to house them for a little bit longer. And just like our other campuses, we offer cognitive behavioral therapy, alcohol and drug treatment, mental health services, and parenting classes. And there's a parole and probation office right on site. In the middle, right in the center of our women's campus, is Bothy Cottage. This Bothy Cottage has 5 rooms, and they're designed for women and children. So we can have about 10 children there, 5 units of housing, 5 women, 10 children. There's on-site services there as well, case management, parenting classes, substance abuse treatment, and cognitive behavioral therapy. In 2016, we opened up the Oaks at 14th. This is a partnership between Homes for Good, our local housing authority, and sponsors. There are 54 one-bedroom apartments. There's a total project cost of $9.2 million, but it's permanent supportive housing for men and women with criminal histories. Notice how beautiful the facility is, how vibrant the colors are. Here's another look at some of the, as a kind of an aerial view of the facility. Notice to the right, at the bottom right-hand side of the picture, there's a covered area there, and there's 2 picnic benches inside, and there's a couple barbecuers there. This was all built by trees that were actually milled off the property. Now, this next slide is an artist rendering of our new tiny homes project that will be on a piece of property adjacent to our Roosevelt Crossing Men's Campus on Highway 99 in Roosevelt. This will be the site of 10 tiny homes for people with criminal histories. There's a community room in the center of the property with washer and dryer and a place for folks that live there to gather. Individuals will be able to rent these homes with a portion of their rents going into a savings account for when they decide to move on to another place to live, leaving a spot for another individual to get their start. Here's another picture, another angle of the same project. So what does it mean to successfully complete the sponsors program? So successful completion of our program looks like this. Individuals have passed all of their alcohol and drug screening. They have found and maintained employment or schooling. They have obtained permanent housing. They've maintained compliance with the conditions of their parole. And since we serve over 500 people a year in housing programs, it's a lot of people. And we're able to boast that over the past 20 years, there's been between 65 and 75% of sponsors' clients that have successfully completed the sponsors program. This is a data slide that we're often asked about how our sponsors graduates stack up against those who did not come through the program. So here it is. Research on our program has showed a reduction in recidivism for those that participated in our programs of 50%. So what is the cost of recidivism? The prison system in the United States is an $80 billion a year industry. If we were successfully able to reduce recidivism by 1% in the state of Oregon, it would result in a savings of over $4.3 million. The cost of jail in Oregon is about $135 a day. The cost of prison in Oregon is about $84 a day. However, the cost of sponsors is $35 a day. And when you look at it like this, the programs like sponsors just make sense. So a little bit about sponsor staffing. Sponsor staffing is like a program within a program. Sponsors encourages ex-clients and those that have been convicted of felonies in the past to apply for jobs. It doesn't necessarily mean that because you've been convicted of a felony, you'll be a good employee here, of course. There's an expectation that staff will further their skills through education and that they have been doing things to better themselves in addition to just being clean and sober or staying out of the justice system. So to date, while working at sponsors, many staff have acquired 4 master's degrees, 10 bachelor's degrees, dozens of associate's degrees, and a lot of certificate level stuff such as certified alcohol and drug counselors. So what can you do? Of course, what we're doing today is we're talking about our program. You can share the program with others, people that have never heard about it before. I mentioned earlier that there's a mentoring program where we match people that are in the community with folks that are getting out of prison. We're always at a shortage of folks to mentor people that are returning back to the community. If you would like to know more information about mentoring, please feel free to reach out at that email address or phone number or ask some questions below. Of course, we love donations of money, clothing, household items. When folks come to sponsors, oftentimes they're in a jumpsuit from prison or a sweatsuit. They have no clothes of their own. So folks that are in the community donate clothes and household items. That way, when folks move out of sponsors, they're able to get stuff to house or to furnish their new house. The donations that we get are very appreciated, and they leave sponsors for free. We charge our clients nothing for them. Also, what you can do is if you are in a position where you work for an organization that hires people, consider hiring the folks that come from sponsors. And like I mentioned earlier, tell others about the work that we do with sponsors. Here are some of the faces of reentry. These are people working together, families reunited, and of course, smiles all the way around. And as promised at the onset, here's my contact information again. If you'd like to ask any questions, do any of the following. You can email me at ncrapser@sponsorsinc.org. So NCRAPSER@sponsorsinc.org. Or you can phone me at 541-505-5659, or post your question in the comments section of this video, right below the video, and I will answer it so that anyone can read your question, anyone can read the answer. And lastly, like I said at the onset, I'll be happily schedule something at the church, something easy and informal, that I can answer any questions or tell you more about our program. Thank you so much for watching. And once again, I'm so sorry that I was unable to be with you all last week. Please let me know if you need anything else, and have a great day.